Hello, and welcome to Doris's Golf Club. Oh, I'm so glad to be back with you. I have a very exciting episode for you today. I'm going to talk just a little bit about the Portland Classic and a little bit about the upcoming tournament this weekend, which is the CPKC, basically the Canadian Classic. It's kind of a mouthful. But then I'm going to turn it over to my very first interview, my very first guest, which was my sister-in-law. And I had such a wonderful time interviewing her. Of course, I've known her for years, but it was so much fun to be able to talk with her about golf and her experience with golf and her feelings about it and ask her some questions that I've never asked her before. And so I really had a wonderful time talking with her. And so I think that you all will enjoy it too. So let me first just talk about the Portland Classic a little bit. Our winner of the Portland Classic, so the standard Portland Classic, was Aki Iwai. And so as you all know, Aki is from Japan. She is the twin sister of Chisato Iwai, and Chisato won the tournament in Mexico, the Riviera Maya, I believe it was. And so Chisato has won a tournament so far this year, and now Aki has won her first tournament with the LPGA. They are both rookies this year with the LPGA. They're part of this rookie group from Japan. But like the other rookies, like Ryo Takeda and Miyu Yamashita, who Miyu just won the AIG Women's Open, the last major of the year there in Wales. But like all of them, they are not new to golf. They are not new to winning. They have been playing on the JLPGA, the Japanese LPGA, for a while now and have been winning there, both of them as well. So it's really fun to see now all four of those Japanese rookie women have won tournaments this year. And really wonderful that both twins got to win this year. And they're just, oh my goodness, they're all amazing. And Aki was amazing in this tournament. I mean, she's an aggressive player. She just hits it straight toward the pin, and it is fun to watch. And yeah, it was a fun tournament. So I know I had talked in the preview about how watching the aerial video was a little boring, and I was curious to see how the course would actually view while watching it on TV. And I will say it was a lot more fun to watch on TV. Like actually watching the women play the course, at ground level rather than flying over was actually a lot more fun. And one of the things that I had wondered about the course is with all of those trees, if they would be more narrow fairways and if that would be some of the challenging part of the course. And it definitely was. So the fairways were much more narrow, I think, than we have seen so far with a lot of the courses that the women have played. And so that was a lot of fun and just a gorgeous course up there in the Northwest, and just, gorgeous, very green, all kinds of different trees, big, big trees, narrow fairways. And most of the days it was kind of overcast and it just looked really beautiful. On Sunday, it was sunny. And just a beautiful day for Aki to pull it out. She won with a score of 24 under. And I had mentioned that about a lot of the really low scores that people had come out with the years before, and Aki was no different. But it was still a lot of fun to watch. So love, love, love that she won. Frankly, it's, again, our 22nd different winner so far. We have not had a repeat winner yet. Incredible. I keep saying I need to look it up. I don't know the last time that this has happened with the LPGA. I assume it has happened before. I assume there's some long streak. I don't know if this is the longest. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to add it to my list, but I'm very curious to know. I think it's a lot of fun because I think, frankly, I have learned who these women are. I think I've known um, who, I don't know, most of the winners are, or at least I've learned about them even after the fact. So I've really enjoyed it. And I do understand a lot of people's argument why, sometimes it's good to have maybe 4 or 5 kind of quote unquote top players that you're seeing kind of battle it out every time. There's definitely pros and cons with that. But frankly, I have really enjoyed seeing all different women winning every different tournament, and really kind of it makes it much more, to me, dramatic up until the very end to see who's actually going to win each tournament. It's just not kind of a foregone conclusion every single tournament. Oh, it's like, oh, okay. Like with the men, like, oh, Scotty Scheffler's going to win again. Oh, okay. Or, Rory's going to pull it out. He's going to win. But I think it's very fun, and I don't know, more dramatic, more tense, more suspenseful to see. Frankly, we have no idea. And it's not as if these are random, I don't want to say, not great players that are just kind of flukes that are winning. Again, I think that this speaks to the quality of these players, that these are excellent, excellent players who are all winning these tournaments. So it's really highly competitive, this group of women who are playing. Anyway, congratulations to Aki. And so both Iwai twins have won this year. I wanted to point out a few things. So I don't know if you all were watching, and when you were watching, did you notice there were several different days when I think it was Morgan Pressel in particular, one of the commentators, she several times mentioned green speeds, and she mentioned, I think either Thursday or Friday, she mentioned the number 12. She mentioned the number 12.5. And then even when I was listening to the mixed bag, they were mentioning that the greens were running at 13. Now, you all know, if you listened to my last podcast, you know what those numbers mean, because you know what the stimp rating means and the stimp meter and how the green speeds are measured. So here's the other thing. You not only know what that actually means in terms of how many feet the ball was rolling when someone was measuring, and they had the little contraption, the little stimp meter, and they pulled it up and let the ball roll down. The ball rolled 12 feet or 13 feet before it actually stopped. So you know what those actual numbers mean now, but then the context. So you also know that that's a really fast green. And so I also heard that I think that these were some of the fastest greens that the women have played so far this year, which is kind of surprising to me. I mean, like some of their places like Black Desert, thinking of more of that desert and dry. Frankly, KPMG, Women's PGA Championship, whatever. You know how I feel about it. But in Frisco, Texas in June, in the heat with the wind, I thought that those were very fast greens. At that time, maybe they were saying a different speed or saying a speed I don't remember hearing. I wasn't even paying attention at that time. I don't even really know if I had internalized what a stimp rating was or any of those numbers. So I don't even know that I heard if they were saying how fast greens were running at that time. So I did think it was interesting that these were some of the fast, well, okay, take that with a grain of salt. I will say on the mixed bag, they were saying that 13, of course, is a fast green. Morgan Pressel, I think, on the actual broadcast was saying that these are some of the fastest greens that the women have played. She also then, like a few minutes later, when someone had landed their ball on the green and it just plopped down and stopped, Morgan then made the comment that these are very soft greens. Okay, so let's all take that with a grain of salt, that these are the fastest greens that they've played. I take that all back. So what we all know and can be very confident about is that we know what it means, and we know that those are fast greens. Now, are these the fastest ones that they've played? No idea. Anyway, I really liked hearing, the actual numbers. I liked that they were throwing it out. I loved that it caught my ear. I perked up. Again, I had it kind of on in the background, but as soon as I heard them talking about these greens are running at a 12 or 12.5 or whatever it was, I loved that I could hear. I knew exactly what they were talking about, and I had an idea of, oh, that sounds pretty fast. Like even before Morgan or any other commentator said anything about the speed, I had an idea in my mind. Oh, is that fast? Is that slow? Anyway, I really enjoyed that. So I hope you all heard that too when you were watching. And I hope you continue listening. Trying to pick up on those green speeds as you keep watching tournaments. And I don't know, it was kind of fun. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about that. Oh, then this was also really fun. So if you were watching, and even if you weren't, I want to tell you more about one of the things that they were saying when Aki was playing, I think on the last day. They mentioned that she and Chisato, her twin sister, and Rio Takeda, who again, you all know, I've been rooting for her through many tournaments. I've had my picture with Rio twice. I love Rio Takeda. Anyway, so the three of them are actually in this baseball league together and with some other golfers. And when they were talking about it on the broadcast, I think that they had said the name of the baseball team was Baseball Some Days. So I was doing a little bit of research, and because I was like, oh my goodness, that's really fun. Like, I love that they not only hang out together and are friends, but they're doing something other than just golf. Like they have lives other than just golf. I think that's really important and good, especially for them at this age. And even just knowing, like, at this young age, how important it is to have a life, a well-rounded life, and just be doing fun things outside of your career, even though your career is a sport and you're doing some other sport. I think that's just great that they're part of this baseball league. Anyway, so I was doing a little digging with the help of ChatGPT. And so I was having some articles translated from Japanese. And so I discovered, so it's 8 different women from the JLPGA, and they're part of this league. And the way that I think it's probably more accurately translated is Some Days Baseball. And I think that's the name of their team. And evidently, I think that so 8 different players will, or golfers will play caddies. That's what it sounds like. Again, I don't know how accurate this translation is, but that sounds really fun and like lighthearted and wonderful. And so then I was looking for these other women to see if I could find out who they were. So again, I told you it's Rio Takeda, Aki Iwai, and her twin Chisato. And so I was looking up these other women, and I realized I've never been to the JLPGA website before. So I know obviously that a lot of these players still play on both leagues, but I've just never gone to that website. And so I went on the website and was looking up these other players and seeing some of their stats. They're all pretty amazing players. Beautiful young women, just look very talented and interesting, good stats. Like, I look at all of the various players on the LPGA's website. What I thought was fascinating, it's just interesting, different information than we have on the LPGA's website. Some of the information that they have on every member's website or profile page, specific page about them, one of the tabs is profile, and it has their height, their weight, their blood type, and then how many holes in one. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It was just, I thought that it was so interesting. Just interesting information that they have on the website. First of all, I don't know. I mean, clearly, I would not appreciate my weight being posted on a website. I mean, I know we all have it on our driver's license, but of course we can lie about that. But height, weight, blood type, and then holes in one. Like, especially it also cracked me up that it seems like that information doesn't all match, to have on the same page. Anyway, I just thought it was very funny. And I found it very interesting too when I went to the member page. The first thing that popped up on the member page was basically like every member whose birthday is this month. Like that's just the first thing that popped up like on the page. And just interesting. Interesting fun differences between the way their website is set up and the way the LPGA's website is set up. Really fun stuff. I also, man, I've talked about how the JLPGA, again, because obviously it's a more contained league and or organization, and you can just go, train to train or take a train from city to city for these tournaments. I don't know why I haven't really thought about like actually going over and going to a few of these tournaments. I think that would be so awesome. And you'll hear more in my interview with my sister-in-law. We both agree that Japan is a fantastic country and we both loved it. And I've only been once, but I really want to go again. I love Japan. I mean, what a great reason, right? Like, if I can find out what their schedule is, which of course I can now, I'm on their website, I can go look. How fun. What a good excuse if I can find a couple different tournaments and then get to take I love the bullet train. Oh my goodness, it's just so much fun to take. It's so fast, so much fun. I love it. I think that has to be a trip that I plan. In addition to Korea, by the way, I can't believe that I forgot to talk to my sister-in-law about coming with me to the Hanwha Life Plus International Crown, but I totally forgot. I was going to tell her she had to come. Fortunately, though, I've been talking to my brother about it, and I talked with him again after I interviewed my sister-in-law. So, I've really been like laying the groundwork for them to join us in a few months in October, going to Korea. So hopefully they'll be able to come with us. Okay, I'm getting off track. So I told you about this fantastic baseball league, the Some Days Baseball. Anyway, the article looked so cute, and there were several articles. I didn't have many translated. Cute pictures of the team and just, matching shirts. But it's just all so cute, I think. And I just love that these women are again doing this kind of thing together. It's just not all focused on golf. I just love this. So that's a little bit more information in case you did see on the broadcast the mention about those women playing together, those three, Rio, Chisato, and Aki, playing baseball together. I wanted to let you know a little bit more about the rest of their teammates. And in case you do want to find out more about them, I can send you the rest of their names if you need them. Just let me know. But also, I highly recommend going to the JLPGA website and poking around just in general. It's really fun if you have not gone there. And it's inspiring me too. I haven't been to the Korean LPGA website. I haven't been to some of these other websites. And I don't know why. I just haven't thought of it. So I really want to go poke around on some of these other websites, get to know some of these other players, and just see, what some of these other websites are all about. Anyway, I highly recommend that you do too. Okay. I think that was it for Portland. I mean, there's so much with the Portland Classic, but those were the main things that I wanted to talk about with you all. The tournament this coming weekend is the CPKC Women's Open. It's in Canada. And let's see if I can get this name right. The Mississauga Golf and Country Club. It's in Ontario, Canada. And this one moves around every year. And so it has moved around, all over Canada through the years. And it's going to be a great, great field. So I know I had talked about with the Portland Classic, some of our top players weren't playing in it, although we had excellent players, obviously. But like, Nelly Corda wasn't playing, and I can't remember, some of the other top players as far as the Rolex rankings weren't playing. However, in this tournament, in this one in Canada this weekend, we have a lot of our top players are actually playing in this tournament. So it should be a really great one to watch. And this I found fascinating. So again, we've had 22 different winners this year. 19 of our 22 winners so far this year will be playing in this tournament this weekend. So I think that's fantastic. High likelihood then that we should maybe have a repeat winner. We'll see. Again, I think that this is really fun for the suspense. It makes it much more interesting, I think, to watch each tournament and see what happens. And then we have 19, like I was saying, we have a lot of our top players. 19 of our top 25 Rolex ranked women are playing in this tournament. So we do have a lot of our top women playing. So our last few years winners of this tournament in 2024, Lauren Coughlin from the U.S., she won the tournament. And I've talked about Lauren Coughlin in the past. So Lauren had been playing for many years and I think was close to giving up or considering just not having golf as her full-time career, hadn't won and was really questioning whether or not she was going to continue. And then she won. And then she won again. And I think she had 2 or 3 wins, if not in a row. They were all within like a year or within a 6-month stretch or something. They just kind of started happening, and it was incredible. And so this was back in 2024 when she had won here in Canada. And it really was a turning point for her. And she actually, at that point then, had made the Solheim Cup team, the U.S. Solheim Cup team. So it was a really amazing, wonderful kind of transformation for her career and just a fantastic story. I know I've mentioned this, but if you haven't really heard or remember her whole story, go to No Laying Up, the podcast. They have done many deep dives into her story. They actually sponsored her. So their podcast sponsored her. And so just really fascinating. They've talked with her husband, who was her caddy for a while. Really, really good in-depth interviews with her. And I highly recommend just go back through their podcast and look for their interviews through kind of the last couple of years with Lauren Coughlin. And they're really interesting to hear her full story. Highly recommended. So really, I really, really like Lauren Coughlin. She won last year in Canada. And the year before, in 2023, Megan Kang won. And so Megan Kang, you all know, I really like Megan Kang. She's a very fun player to watch. She's just fun. She is upbeat. She has personality. She and her caddy are a ton of fun. Her caddy is out there. Like he is the type of caddy that I think a lot of people would like. Like he is there making sure that everything is taken care of for her to play. Like I think it was in the Dow Championship when Megan Kang and Lexi Thompson were playing as a team, and I can't remember, maybe one of Lexi's balls or their team ball somehow was basically really close to the road, and it was an actual active road. They hadn't closed down the road, and so cars were going back and forth. And Megan wasn't in the road, but she was very close. And they were figuring out the relief was actually going to be from a road sign, not from the actual traffic. So once they figured out, where her ball was going to be and everything, Megan's caddy actually went out like into the road and stopped traffic so that Megan could have a safe, clean shot. He stepped out in the road, stopped traffic. She took her shot, then he came back in. Like that's the kind of team teamwork they have. So they are fun to watch. I love seeing that Megan had won this in 2023. I would love to see Megan win again. She's just a fun player to watch. Go Megan. 2022, a woman named Paula Rito. I don't think I've ever heard of her. I was looking her up. She's from South Africa. This has been her only win on the LPGA. I just looked her up. She's 35 years old. I don't remember ever seeing her name, but interesting. I don't know. I assume she'll be playing again because once you win a tournament, I think you get exemptions for, a certain number of years. So maybe she'll be in the field again. I'd love to learn more. 2019. So I assume in there, I'm not sure why they didn't have tournaments from 2000. I assume 2020 they didn't have a tournament because of COVID. 2021, I don't know if they didn't have a sponsor, or if there was some issue, or if it was just, a holdover again from COVID. I'm not sure. But 2019, Jin Young Ko from Korea, she won the tournament. Every time I see her name, I do think about her Instagram page. I think as her profile pic, she has her little white dog wearing sunglasses. It's really cute. Anyway, and then 2018, Brooke Henderson won. And Brooke Henderson is from Canada, and she's kind of Canada's darling. She is a very, very good golfer. Her sister is her caddy. They look very much alike. I enjoy seeing them. Her sister was the one I think I had talked about, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship in Frisco. I think her sister had heat stroke and had maybe not been able to caddy the last day or two because of the horrible heat. And so they, I think, were scrambling to find a caddy. I don't remember. I mean, just such a mess, that crazy tournament. All right, I'll stop bashing that one. Anyway, Brooke Henderson won in 2018. I know that everyone will be out in force rooting for Brooke Henderson. Brooke Henderson is also very fun to watch. She is one of the few players who always leaves the pin in the hole when she's putting. I think it's really interesting. I was reading some article actually about the pros and cons to that. I need to look into it more. I guess the rule changed actually, I don't know, 6 years ago or so, or maybe long. It was either 2009 or 2019. The rule actually changed. It used to be you had to take the pin out of the hole when you were putting. And then the rule changed so that you could actually leave the pin in the hole while you were putting. And there's some, I guess, I don't know. I think the stats may actually show that it's better to leave the pin in the hole. I don't know. Clearly, I didn't read the article very well, but I did think it was interesting because, again, I don't know. It seems scary to me because it seems like the ball could bounce off of the pin. So to me, it seems like you wouldn't want to leave it in the hole. But then when I was reading this article, it made it sound like it's actually statistically better to leave it in the hole while you're putting, which I found fascinating. It also made me wonder why more people aren't leaving it in the hole. So I don't know. Very interesting. But you'll notice if you're watching Brooke Henderson, she has her sister, she leaves the pin in the hole while she's putting. So anyway, take a look at that when you're watching Brooke Henderson from Canada, because I'm sure she will be highly focused on during this Canadian Open Championship this coming weekend. I'm sure she'll be on screen a lot. So do look out for that and watch her leave the pin in the hole while she's putting. Okay, so I think that is about it for now. Oh, the purse is 2.75 million, which is, it's fine. I had meant to say the Portland Classic, unfortunately, was 2 million. After the KPMG and the US Women's Open, both at 12 million. And I know those are majors. I know. But going from purses of 12 million to then any tournament of like 2 million, oof, it seems rough. I don't know. I feel like there should be a minimum of, well, I was going to say 5 million, but at least 3. I don't know. I feel like there should be a minimum of 3. And by the way, it's the time of year where all of these other bonuses and ridiculous amounts of money are being paid out to the men. And I'm not just talking about live. I'm not talking about live golf. I'm talking about the PGA. The amount of money that these men are paid. It is insane. If it's return on investment, if it's actually, worth it because of advertising, because of whatever, fine, but it's not. It's like, again, just so obnoxious. Okay. All right. I didn't mean to end on that note. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I cannot help it. It just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Oh man. Okay. Well, so I'm going to go ahead then. I think that that's about it for Portland and for the upcoming Canadian tournament. Oh, where to watch. So, as usual, you'll be able to watch on Golf Channel on Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's Eastern. And then Saturday and Sunday, there's going to be a mix. Oh my goodness. Why do they even do this? 4 to 4:30 p.m. on NBC Digital on Saturday, and then 4:30 to 7 p.m. on Golf Channel, and then Sunday 3 to 4 p.m. on NBC Digital and 4 to 6 on CBS. Oh, okay, good. Good. Yeah, okay. Excellent. So at least there's something on CBS. Or on a network. Okay. Well, so that's where to watch. I highly recommend that you at least, if nothing else, even if you don't have cable, just turn on CBS on Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. If you're in Central, 3 to 5, just put it on in the background. Listen for that stimp rating. If anyone talks about the green speed, you know a lot of these women's names now. Just listen, have it on, enjoy it. Even if you want to take a little golf nap, that's fine too. I hope you enjoy it, and I really hope that you enjoy my very first interview with my sister-in-law, Marla. Okay, enjoy, and until next time, bye. Today, I'm really excited, Marla, to be welcoming you as my very first interview guest. I'm really excited that you agreed to do this with me. I'm really excited to talk with you about lots of different things, but specifically to start your relationship with golf, because as I think listeners know, you did come with us. With my husband Chris and me to the Chevron Championship, which was in the Woodlands. And so we were staying with you. You got to come to the last day. And so I want to kind of dive in with, just starting, what is your relationship with golf?
Sure. Well, and I'm going to start by saying thank you for having me. I'm privileged to be your first guest. Okay. So, my relationship with golf, I would say, is complicated.
Ooh,
So, as you can see potentially in my background, we live on a golf course. And I would say growing up, I would have been completely and totally horrified to think that someday I'd live on a golf course. So, I think, maybe people can identify with that. I'll try to unpack that a little bit more. Golf to me is there's the baggage of it being, a rich, I would say, white men's sport
yeah.
is the overwhelming, like, that's like it is.
Yeah.
And it also takes up a bunch of land and,
Yes.
is kind of, not, it's kind of is often very exclusive. So,
Yes.
takes hundreds or, tens of $1,000s to become a member, and it's a very exclusive sort of sport.
Yes.
That being said, when, circumstances change, when we live in Texas and, we're looking for a place to live, love this house and love that it's on a golf course and, are able to see, to have the green space that is, in addition to what we, our specific, land, and just love being able to see the golf course. And it's, also fun to see people out there golfing. I personally do not golf. I do not plan to golf. I do not plan to ever like take it up. If for some reason I do, I think that you would perhaps think that something there may be a major change in personality. So
Okay.
That being said, I loved going to the Chevron Championship with you, and I also enjoy listening to the podcast. So I
Good.
think it's totally, both possible and, probable that you can both have some, you know, reservations about golf as a sport, but also enjoy it.
Yes. I I think that is all very true. Um, I think represents how a lot of people feel about golf in general, and specifically how a lot of women feel about golf. So
Yeah.
you have never played?
I mean, like in high school, I did like one time, went out and, with some guys that we were, you know, interested in high school, with a friend. We had a foursome and they both golfed and the two of us I mean, we hit some balls and people laughed at, how high our scores were and drove the golf carts. And it was fun. I shouldn't say obviously, I've done mini golf plenty of times, never competitively. I do enjoy going to Top Golf. That's
Yes.
and then there's also another mini golf, that's inside and, fun to go to. Um, and then as our son, we have him playing golf, and so I'm a little bit adjacent to it. But yeah, no, I have not in any way had instruction or, and I never tried to golf really. But
Okay.
it
Yeah.
is fun at Topgolf. Like, I enjoy hitting a club at Topgolf.
Yes.
I enjoy
Yes.
I love the sound. I love, if you've been there, they have great games where you can try to get better and, like, there's ways to win even if you don't really know what you're doing. And I think it's super fun. But I also like it's just a huge time commitment. I would say that's a number one drawback. And number two, like, I'm just not really someone who in sports in general, there's a lot of practice. There's a lot of I would think in order to really enjoy yourself playing golf, um, you know, even starting out, I've no doubt that I could learn at my age in my late 40s, and I have no doubt that I could get where I could play it, but I don't want to put the time and effort into, you know, hours and hours of hitting a ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that all makes sense, and I think it's interesting that you do enjoy Top Golf as much as you do. Like, so my
Yeah.
relationship with golf, and the reason I asked if you had ever played is, so when I went to college, a few of the years that I went, I was, going to a school where you grew up, and there are a lot of golf courses around there, and a lot of little par 3 courses, and of course, kind of an easy way to go as a group dating or,
Mhm.
with, uh, boys who are interested in girls. It's easy
Yeah.
for them to just ask them to, let's go play golf in that
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
And so in college, I did play, um, I mean, several times, but just little par 3 courses. Loved it because you have, I think, probably beginner's luck. And
Uh-huh.
so, some of the first times I was playing there, I felt like I was pretty good, but had no idea what I was doing, no instruction ever. And, my mom had golfed. At least my memories, I remember my mom and my oldest brother golfing.
Okay.
Um, I don't remember Mark golfing,
Yeah.
and it'd be interesting to know, to talk with him now. But I remember my mom and my older brother golfing. And when they would go, I think I would maybe just sit and watch them. Like, I didn't
Oh,
play.
interesting.
And so it wasn't until college that I think I probably played a little bit. And then I didn't play again. And then I'd always kind of wanted to get back into it,
Yeah.
because it's like one of those things. Golf courses are beautiful locations.
Yes.
They're so thinking about traveling,
Yes.
and, Chris and I love birding. We've gotten into that, and a lot of the same locations are great for golf and birding. And
Yes,
as
for
we've
sure.
gotten older, and I thought, well, that, it would be great to have that kind of sport, go to these great places, have a reason to check out some of these places around the world. But then it's not until I've started taking lessons that I think I've realized, number one, that I probably can get good enough to enjoy it a little bit.
Oh,
And also,
yes.
again, that time commitment. Like,
Right.
I'm just currently in my life, I'm not even having time to practice. But you do, I mean, you're very active.
Yes.
you know?
I
And so I
could do it if I do have the time.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it is a time commitment, but, like, I'll just say I don't even exercise right now. Like, I'm at this point in my life where I'm just
Sure.
not doing that. But you are very active. You do exercise, you do go to classes, you do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be super fun to be good at golf, but then, I mean, and I do love, like, when we travel occasionally, I'll have, my son and husband go golf.
Yeah.
Really just, have them go golf just so that you know, my daughter and I, that, we have some time to read and not, like get our son, get him away because he doesn't read. So, just go get him to do something.
Yeah.
And it is in, very neat places. I'm totally for people golfing, and I'd say I bring it back to Chevron. I very much enjoyed watching.
Watching.
Yes, and I find it interesting, and I'm enjoying learning more about it. I think that in general, it's nice to learn. It's just good, to learn about things. So, it is
Yeah.
a fascinating sport, and I do think it's, I mean, one of the reasons we're having our son do it is something that you can do, either alone or, in very small groups, and you don't have
Yes.
to do as a team sport, which I think is a huge deal for lifelong, being active and
Yes.
also being part of a community. So I think it's a
Yes.
good sport.
Yeah. I
So
agree. And what also attracted me, I mean, it's kinda like the cons are also the pros. Like you were saying, it takes up a lot of land, it is an expensive sport, but also having that green space, like, in your backyard, going out being able to go out and do a sport in nature and basically take a very long walk if you're walking or,
right.
riding a cart or whatever, you're out in nature. That's very appealing to me, so I do like that, about the sport. But I wanted to ask, so I when we were planning to come for the Chevron Championship, I think I had
Yes.
mentioned it at some point, and then we firmed up our plans. Had you known that that was played in the Woodlands before we told you about it?
So I know that there are golf tournaments that go on here, a
Yeah,
few miles from where we live.
yeah.
I couldn't tell you more than that other than, if there are signs up that say, like, well, for golf, we don't usually get the traffic. I was gonna say we get traffic stuff about, like, if there's a marathon or something. But, I mean, I know that there are golf tournaments, but no, I had no idea. I don't know whether it's an LPGA or I know then the next weekend there was that, there were, senior,
Senior
yeah,
men's
right.
senior I think it was senior amateur men's, or I don't remember. Yeah, something like
Something.
that. Yeah.
And I know that, like, like, often on a plane, if I talk to someone on an airplane, and they ask where I'm from, and I usually just say, Houston, and then they'll ask, a little bit more, and I'll say the Woodlands, and, you know, I know that people know it for golf, but no, I had no idea that it was a major LPGA tournament and a few miles from my
Okay, that's
house.
interesting. And you've lived there, I mean, what has
7
it been now?
It's been
7,
7
8
years.
years?
Yeah,
7? Okay. And so this is the first year. And, I mean, that tracks with what we experienced when we were there. Like, the people there not even really knowing much about the tournament, even the signage as you're driving down being somewhat confusing as to
right.
what tournament is being played
Sure.
when.
Yes, having the mix of the 2 different tournaments, the
Yes.
signs of both of them.
Yes.
Correct.
Um
Yeah.
And I remember when we were planning it and asking, getting our tickets and seeing if you would like to join us and what day and when, and you had asked what day would be the most exciting. And so I was saying Sunday, the last day would be the most exciting because we'd
Yes.
have the winner
Yes,
determined.
it shows a little bit of my, lack of, knowledge of golf. Yes.
But I'm glad we chose that date, and I'm so glad that you were able to come. And so
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your experience going on that Sunday. I mean, first of all, what a wonderful first tournament. I mean,
Yes.
the five-way playoff, everything that happened was
Right.
so thrilling. But tell me just in general what your experience was of joining us that day.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so I'd say in general, there's as you go to any sort of event, having to get preparation for the, clear bag and all that stuff,
Yes.
fine, and, going through a screening and having a little bit of worry about, is your bag gonna work or not? Which is
Yeah.
a little ridiculous, but I guess also good. So there's a little bit of stress with that, but then, once we get in, that was, there was a festive atmosphere. I would say I found it very nice that it wasn't too crowded, like that you weren't like in mobs and like,
Yeah.
hard to get through. Like I found it very nice that there weren't long lines, but and it'd be better potentially to have more spectators. But then, once we got there and got to the first tee off, we were, I would say we were running a little bit later than we wanted, but it was also, I thought it was, relatively early. So
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
we were there before 11. I don't know. I feel like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
on a Sunday. It was definitely before 11. I think it was, I don't know, early tens, for getting out, on a Sunday morning, getting all ready and going. And, that's kind of early, but we were like barely made it for the last tee off.
Yes.
So to me, those were a few, challenges, but it was really fun to see that.
Yeah.
And then as far as, um, the, I think as you said, like, I enjoyed it, but, as far as getting into it, it was fun there were 3 people in the group, which I had to figure out what that meant, but quickly I learned that they were, since it was the last group teeing off, they were the ones who were doing the best at that point. So it's kind of fun to like choose one of them to root for, which I chose Mao, which ended up being wonderful. But I, I think it was interesting to see like just the different ways that the 3 people played. I know that you and you were explaining to me about the other 2 who were in the group. You were telling me a lot about them. I feel like
Oh, I don't remember.
yes, it's Heron, and then
Was
Lexi. Is that right?
I can't remember if it was Lexi
It was
or
Lexi. It was for sure
Oh,
Lexi.
okay.
I didn't know if it was her name. I didn't know if I was saying the name right or whatever, but it
Yeah.
was definitely Lexi. And so, like, I think you were telling me a lot about them because you knew a little bit
Yeah.
about both of them. So I kind of liked, okay, well, then there's the other one. You
Yeah.
know, you're not
And
talking
I didn't know much about Mao.
right. And
Yeah.
then there are a couple other things that I found really fun. Like I felt like she, so I mean, part of my annoyance, I shouldn't say annoyance, but part of my golf is a little bit strict, like it's a little bit like, okay, you have to wear the collared shirt. Let's like, it's a little uptight, like the whole belt
Yes.
or not, or like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know the rules as far as the pants. There's some rule about like if your pants have to have like loops or not, at least in
Oh. I
according
wonder if
to my
that's
son.
specifically for men. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be specifically for men. And then, they're
Interesting.
supposed to wear pants, but, it's 105 degrees, you're
Yes.
supposed to wear pants. But more the collared shirt. So I found it a little bit annoying about the collared shirt.
Yes.
And so I really liked that she was just wearing this little tiny, like she had this little it was like a,
It's kind
almost
of
like
like
a
a
little
lip. A
turtleneck,
little
but
yeah.
very tiny, and it's like, okay, well, she clearly doesn't she clearly does not just flaunting the rules as much as she can. So I really like that about her.
And I remember us asking your son, we're like, "Does that qualify? Does that qualify as a collared shirt?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yes." It
Yeah.
I mean, clearly she's allowed to wear it,
Clearly,
but
she's allowed to wear it.
yes, but it was different
But
than a
it's
lot
like,
of the
okay,
other
so what's the point of
players.
the collared shirt then? Like, like what,
I know. And I think there was even something, and I wanna look it up. I think with the LPGA, there was some issue just not that long ago, even with sleeveless shirts being allowed,
Oh,
like, during tournaments. Yeah, and now they are. I mean, and probably different tournaments have different rules, but, I mean, I think even that was something, that was debated, or even skirts of a certain length or,
right.
it's just
Yeah,
it's
it's like,
so
why can't you just play
ridiculous.
what you're comfortable in? I
Right.
I mean,
Right. Because these are athletes. And
right.
so that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed and I wanted to ask you about is I have loved seeing the fashion because there's a wide range, But
Yes.
there is some amazing fashion,
Yeah.
and some of these brands, that sponsor these women, I mean, they come up with some really cool clothes, and yet every single piece has to be actually functional because this is a sport. They're out there, they're in the heat, or they're in the rain or the cold or whatever environment, but they also have to have such range of motion with
Right.
all of their movements. And
Yeah.
so I've loved seeing what so many of these women are wearing day after day and what they choose to wear and, what their style is. And so I love hearing, like, you talking about the little tiny baby collar on Mao's shirt. Was there anything else about, her in particular that drew you to her
Oh,
or
sure,
any of the
yeah.
other players too?
Yeah, no, I would say she also a little bit more about her clothes before we move on. She was also wearing these black leggings that clearly were
Yeah.
just like functional, like they were like heat protecting or sun
Yes.
protecting, just like very, under her shorts that were not, I mean, it's one thing to be like fashion, like
Yeah.
everyone has their different interpretations. Hers was clearly like, I am functional, I am working, like,
Yes.
I mean, it looked good, but it wasn't like, there's no statement about it other than like, this is what I need to protect me from the, Houston heat that's really
Yes.
the heat right now, and, you know, I think it
Oh,
was in April. But anyway,
I know. It was way too hot for me.
it was,
Way
like,
too hot.
cold. It was beautiful weather. There's no
It
heat.
was
Um,
so humid. The air was oppressive. Yes.
but anyway, so I found that funny, and then I also loved how she just, walked, so she would just purposefully walk just quickly and get things done. Like, she was not like, I don't know. I felt like she
Not
was
slow.
very correct, not slow, charging I felt like she was, charging uh, I don't know what you call it, tee or fairway or whatever it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
the
Down
course.
the fairway, kind of marching down the
Yeah,
fairway. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then I did look her up after on Instagram, and, she does a lot of weightlifting too, which I found very fun, so,
Okay.
yes,
Yes.
like heavyweight,
Yeah.
you know?
I love that. I've really enjoyed seeing a lot of the women's workout routines when they do post because, I mean, some of them are major.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so anything else about the fashion or anything in particular that you liked about the tournament or feelings about the tournament?
So, a couple things. I'll briefly mention, I mean, the fashion, I feel like, like, I would love to, it'd be fun to see a little bit more about, like, where you could actually buy it and, like and
Yes.
also knockoffs and how much it costs, just, like,
Yeah.
functional, like, okay, this is the outfit of the day, and, choose and say, "Okay, this is where you can get it, and, this is the actual cost, and this is, the knockoff on Amazon that maybe or may not be as functional." So, um I find that interesting.
Yeah.
About the tournament, I think, it's nice. I would say in general, I'm someone who, like, I love going I enjoy going to sporting events, but I
Okay.
also don't, you know, necessarily seek them out. And I would say the
Yeah.
biggest thing about sporting events is just all the logistics and just having to park, like the biggest negativity about them is, you know, just dealing with crowds and,
Mhm.
I would say those are the biggest negativities, but I enjoy going to sporting events, and this Chevron also was no different. It was, it was easy to get into as far as understanding and, cheering. The crowd was very, I would say very generous and, talkative to each other and not snooty, um,
Yeah.
as opposed
Yeah.
to you think of as golf, at least, maybe it was because we were just sitting down, on the grass, and maybe it would have been snooty in the, exclusive section. But at least for us, our crowd was, is good fans, and it was, I felt like it was very easy to get into and enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. That I had a fantastic experience there, and I agree. I think the fan experience around us was really good, and not just that final day, but all the different days. But that final day too, we were surrounded by all types of different women and
Yes.
groups, and
Yes.
it was a ton of fun. Like there was quite a range of knowledge. You could tell even just in people's comments as
Right.
the players were coming by and but it didn't matter. Like I didn't mind. I didn't feel less than because I didn't know a
Correct.
ton.
Right.
I've felt like I knew enough and was interested and engaged, and that was, I think, the most important thing being there. So,
Right.
yeah, I agree. It was a good crowd. I really
Yeah, and
liked
it
it.
was I mean, it was fun. There were even some men there that were clearly interested in the golf
Mhm.
and you know, the game, the women's game, which was nice to see too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree with that too. So, now having been to 3 different tournaments,
Uh,
it is, I think, very nice when you hear men having particular, favorites among the players.
right.
It means that they've been following it, they
Correct.
know enough about the LPGA and the players that they have, certain people that they're rooting for, reasons and it hasn't been like I I think only once when I was talking with someone, did they make some comment about, Charlie Hull, being their girlfriend or something. But other than that, it's, the men that I'm hearing around, they're actually respecting the play and, differentiating this person versus that person, or here's what, did you see that? Did you see that shot? Did you see that putt? Did you, rather than just objectifying the players, which I find very nice and welcoming
Oh, yeah.
because, frankly, I don't know, the opposite could very well be true when you're attending those. So,
Sure.
yeah, I've thought
Yes.
it was very nice. So, you've already let me know that you are not ever interested in playing golf, which is
No.
fine.
Sorry.
It's just fine.
Yeah. I don't mind
Maybe
driving
one day
around the
I'll get
golf
you.
course. I mean, I don't mind driving, a cart. That's fine. Or walking or carrying. I don't know. I'd be happy to be a caddy as long as it's not hot.
Oh, man.
But
Agreed. Although your definition of hot, I mean, you could go to lots of these places and be just fine. So,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as it's not 100, heat index and,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy to be a caddy, but I know that caddies are supposed to have
Uh,
advice too, so, maybe I'd have to learn
Sometimes.
something too.
Sometimes. I think it depends on so I found this interesting when, like Lottie Wode, if you've been listening, she just recently became a professional with the LPGA and, turned professional versus being an amateur, and one of the big things about becoming a professional is that you get a caddy. When you're an amateur, you
Oh,
don't have a caddy, like when you're in school and playing, you don't have caddies. And so it's a really big change once you become a professional, then you have a caddy, and all of a sudden you're golfing with this person very close to you, spending all that time. So it's really important to choose someone that matches your personality and your style. And so I
uh-huh,
was I was hearing that I think when I think her dad had caddied for her at some tournament, but then when she was looking around trying to find an actual, full-time caddy. She doesn't talk very much, I guess, and so she had chosen a caddy who is pretty quiet,
uh-huh,
basically just tells her what she needs, no chit-chat, no, words of encouragement, doesn't need any of that. She just basically needs kind of a no-nonsense caddy.
sure,
So you could be a
right.
caddy if you find the right person, who just needs someone to carry their clubs.
Just need someone to carry. I bet there's plenty of people that could do that, but anyway.
Or good vibes, whatever.
Yes,
Having good snacks is important.
I could do that. I could have the snacks available, the different
Yeah.
water and hydration and
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the right fit.
I was
So
gonna say I could have the different, like medicines for, if you have a headache or stuff, but I was, like, wondering
exactly.
what are the rules on medicating during a tournament?
That's a great question. So in the chipping forecast,
Mhm.
that I listened to, Eddie Pepperell, the professional golfer, he has talked about, I guess, I can't remember what tournament or even with the Olympics. I think someone who was taking some cold medicine.
Yeah,
I'm taking all this cold medicine.
yeah,
Someone had then been taking cold medicine and had failed the drug test. So, and I do know at least with and he plays with the DP World Tour. They have it's a random drug test. I don't think he's been tested very often, so it sounds like it's not a very common thing that they do. Of course, once, they play with the Olympics or if they're on the Olympic team, that is, I think, daily drug testing.
okay.
But yeah, so it sounds like even some cold medicines,
Oh,
whatever
sure.
their rules are.
You can take a little
So
Advil if you're
I assume you can take a little Advil. There's also been some discussion about, smoking cigarettes while playing because, of course, a lot of people do
European
smoke.
players.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people do. I mean, they just kinda go off to the side and smoke, and, of course, that, tends to kind of, calm you down, de-stress you, and
Uh-huh.
is that some sort of performance enhancement? I don't know. There's some discussion, but I don't
Yeah.
know. It's interesting.
Caffeine, I assume it's okay.
I assume caffeine is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly what I see is people having, their sandwiches and their bananas but, yeah, I mean, imagine I think some people have gone out, with the flu or
Right.
COVID or whatever, and it's like, I can't imagine not taking medicine, so,
Yeah.
I don't
For
know.
sure.
I'll add
Right.
that to my list. I'm curious
I don't
about
know.
that.
It doesn't I don't know. It's not that important, but
I'm curious in general, like with any sport, what their rules are on
sure.
various drug testing and but yeah, so one of the things that, with the LPGA, it's been, of course, very noticeable the difference between the Ladies Professional Golf Association and the Professional Golf Association, which is the men's. It's been so noticeable the difference in the way just that the LPGA in general as an organization is treated. Their
Mhm.
sponsorship is so much lower, their visibility, their viewing time on TV, all of it is just nothing compared to the men. And so I was just curious. I mean, you are a woman in a typically male dominated profession as a doctor. And I'm just curious, like, have you experienced anything like, I don't know, particularly frustrating, having lack of support as a woman in a male dominated field? I mean, this is so wide open, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say that sure, but I mean, it's things are changing. I mean, yes, it was male dominated when I started, but I think there are also some advantages to that. I do think, you can do things differently and you can make opportunities if you have to. That's not to say that there's not, systemically, difficulty getting there and that we don't need to try to promote women in professions. But even medically, like I believe that now medical school is more women, like, now it's actually harder to get in. Um, there are more women applying, so now,
Yeah.
it's actually could be like it could be potentially, an advantage to be a woman now in medical school. I don't know, potentially. But back to sports, I agree. So sports, I think, like, yeah, it's still frustrating to see, of course, that the women's sports are not, there's no it's not, just the LPGA and the PGA, it's, pretty much, every
Every
professional
sport.
sport, like,
Yes.
you don't see baseball, but, like you do see women's softball on TV a lot. I don't watch things, but, like, it's interesting, I guess so, in general, there needs to be a lot, I would say, for women's sports to be treated similarly to men's. But, I think that, for example, like, women's soccer is getting better. It
Mhm.
feels like, that's a very popular sport, and I feel like it potentially started, becoming more popular when more, you know, younger girls, like, started actually playing soccer.
Mhm.
So, you know, I think that in order for the LPGA to get similar treatment to PGA, if that's what the organization, wants or thinks that it's important to do, there needs to be more, outreach and starting with younger girls to bring them in and
Yeah.
make sure that, golf is something that they could do as a sport. It's not just for, white men
Yes.
and
I
wealthy
think
white
that's
men. I will add wealthy to that.
yes, wealthy. That's very true. I think that's a great point, and it's been the same in the legal profession. I mean, I think maybe when I was in law school, there was a point around there where there was a turning point with the number of women in law school, I think, starting to overtake the number of men. And it's been interesting in my career, there are a lot of women lawyers in my area, a lot of lawyers in my field, but then I found that a lot of the decision makers and the higher ups are still men, you know, and so and I don't know why. I mean, I have reasons I think why. And I'm wondering if it's similar with the LPGA and with other sports as well. Like, I think a lot of girls are taking golf lessons, and I think that they will get scholarships, and then there's some drop off then with how many actually become professional. And then I don't know if it's also, on up. Craig Kessler was the new LPGA commissioner who was chosen, and not to say he's not qualified, but it is a man
Yeah,
over.
that's annoying, like, to me, that's annoying that
Yes.
there's a man in charge of the LPGA. It's like,
Yes.
why? I mean,
Right.
I
Right.
I don't know. That I find that, yes,
Right.
annoying.
I find it very annoying too. And again, it's not saying he's not qualified, but it's just saying so are a whole bunch of women. And so it's again to me it's not only starting girls and women out, it's then keeping them in as
Sure, yeah.
decision makers and focusing on it. But also, when I came to all of this, I had been watching men's golf. I like to just turn it on, have it on in the background, have it on for hours. But as I've been learning more about this, I don't know that that's how the majority of other women even want to consume the LPGA. Like, my big thing has been I want them to be on like men's golf. They're on like 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day during their tournaments, not like 8 hours a day like the men. And I don't know if other women are wanting that or if they're wanting to consume the LPGA and learn about these women and get to know them and see the tournaments in other ways. And so I'm curious for you coming at it fresh and just starting to get to know some of these players and things. Have you thought about, like, so you said you follow Mao on Instagram. Is there a way that you would consume more of the LPGA other than just, and I don't even know that you watch tournaments on TV, but, is there something that would be appealing to you to stay more connected or get connected with the LPGA?
Right. I mean, yes, I think in general, I'm not the target audience just because I don't watch much TV and I don't watch much sporting, in general. Like,
Well, it's
there's
not
not like
on anyway, so there you go.
sure, yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, I do, yes, I do spend plenty of time on my phone looking at random, I would say, I think brain rot is the correct word, I don't know. Random brain rot on,
Yeah.
Instagram. So that's, and I think that's a very common, I shouldn't generalize, but I think that is more the demographic of people my age, and women my age probably. But as far as for having stuff on, so yeah, I mean, if you have TV on in the background, and I have watched a little bit of LPGA, like after I went to Chevron, there was some on. I was on a plane, and it was one of those where
Yeah.
they direct TV, and nothing. Like, there aren't many options on direct TV, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. I'll watch LPGA, and I did find it frustrating to not be able to like really understand what was going on. Like, they didn't make it clear. I felt like they didn't make it clear where we were, but it was fine to have on in the background and interesting enough to see, okay, this is a good shot or not. So if one is to watch a tournament, and actually watch a tournament, I think, doing, making it more clear, um, you know, if this person can win or not, or are they just play? I don't know. Like, but maybe people would find that annoying, but for me, I would like to know, make it more clear what's going on
Yes.
and what they're playing for and what it means. I mean, because, clearly sometimes some people, if you're on the, I don't know, 17th hole, like, there's no chance you're going to be able to win. And so why are we watching them? I don't know, but you can make it clear as to why we're interested in
Right.
this person. Like, why are
Right.
they on TV? And I'm
Yes.
sure there's a reason. I mean, I do think it is, like always, like when I watch things like the Olympics, it is interesting to have the backstories. Like, I enjoy seeing those backstories and like, why, what's going on, becoming a connection. And I guess the conclusion would be that I think, yeah, doing something differently, but perhaps doing a whole different, focusing more on like very small content on your phone as opposed to just turning on the TV and having a, tournament on in the background or even sitting there and watching a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense. And I mean, for someone like me who I like a lot of TV. I like a lot of reality shows. I like getting to know I like kind of having the inside scoop to especially a profession or something going on that we normally would never have an inside look into. And
Yeah.
so to me, it seems like a perfect opportunity to provide some of that content either on YouTube or I mean, frankly, to me, Instagram is way too fast. I just am very new to Instagram and the content is just it's not enough and it's just too fast and I would much prefer even a YouTube short, short video or again like a reality series or something following someone like what is their life like, what is their day like, just anything like getting to know these people behind the scenes. I would love that kind of stuff. I mean, I would go crazy for that. I would, you know and all different players. But I don't know. I think there's such an opportunity. I think that they're just so I don't know if it's behind or also still viewing it like and kind of like I was to begin with, like let's just copy the men, but because we don't have the airtime, we're just condensing it down to 2 or 3 hours versus 8. And that just
Yeah,
seems like such missed opportunities.
sure. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But it's good to know because I don't know that you're not an average or potential average fan. That's the
Sure.
thing also, because like you said, going to a tournament sparked your interest.
Yeah.
Like the players, you were interested and then, have listened to my podcast and hopefully, learned some things and enjoyed it a little bit. And I don't know, I think there are a lot of people out there like that who could get to know it and enjoy it more, just maybe not in that traditional way.
Right. I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
We just gotta well, I gotta figure out a way to do it. We'll see.
You could do it. I and I think that I mean, I do think that I mean, everyone I shouldn't say everyone's different. We all are different and there are, major groups of people who think of, you know, consume in different ways. And eh, I think that I've gotten to the point where I'm more very short content, like,
Yes.
like a little snippet on Instagram telling me a little bit, teaching me a little bit, and that's something I enjoy. So just, tip of the
Yes.
day, like these are, this is what the rules are, or this is, how someone's doing, or even maybe following someone, you get into them, but it's just little bits of them. I would find that interesting.
Okay, well, good to know. I mean, you are definitely just in general more fast-paced than I am, which I always have admired. I don't know if
Well,
I'll
I
ever get
admire
there.
people like you who can go, you know, into the
Take a
depth,
nap.
take a nap, and go slowly, and, like, we all admire hopefully, we all admire things that we are not. Who can really just go down into the weeds and, like, really understand things. Like, that's a really good talent to have.
Well, thanks. But yeah, I mean, so speaking of always being on the go, so I know that you do travel a lot. You have traveled a lot in the past and you continue to travel a lot with your family, which I really love. We grew up, traveling and loving that. I think it's just a positive thing in general. But, the LPGA players are traveling all over the world and I'm so interested to hear from them as well, kind of what their favorite countries and locations are. But for you as a world traveler, do you have a favorite country or countries that you have traveled to? And can you tell me why?
I would say I've been to Japan a couple times, and I really did enjoy Japan. As to why, um, I don't know that I can really articulate well. I would say, number 1 is, beautiful. 2, very different. 3, I felt like there was lots to do, and it was, never boring. And then 4, I'd say the people were very welcoming and helpful, even, like, when it was difficult to communicate. I don't speak Japanese, like, even if it's difficult to communicate, they were very helpful and trying to help, figure out if you're lost or, trying to get food. That just was very welcoming and fun.
That. I've only been to Japan once, and one time was with you, and we loved
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Um, yes, so I know what you mean. I fell in love with Japan. I have wanted to go back ever since. It's kind of otherworldly. It's very, very different from America and in a totally different way. I mean, Europe is very similar to America and Japan is so different. And so I don't know, I absolutely fell in love with Japan. So I love that. So being someone who travels a lot, so I was experiencing this in Wales. I had my adapter, so that I could plug in my blow dryer, and I had because I was staying at an Airbnb, not a hotel. So, and I didn't know if I would have, a blow dryer there
Uh-huh.
provided. So I did all the research in advance, like the voltage and wattage and everything, because I didn't want to blow a fuse. But I didn't even take a straight iron. I didn't take anything. What do you do? I mean, because you go all over. What have you found with your hair products or your, blow dryer, flat iron? Do you have good tips?
So I would say I have one good tip, and I'm gonna try to do better, but I do have a blow dryer that is, like one of those, the round brush blow dryer, and it switches between different electricities,
Oh,
which I think that's the converter part. Like, I always get whether converters and adapters mixed up, but, I
yes.
think that's the converter part, so it can switch. I've taken it to, Asian countries and Europe, so I think I don't know if there are other places too that, I don't know if there's I know there's other places. I don't know if there's other, but I think it switches between 110 and 220 or whatever it is. It's just a easy switch. But when I have, the last trip I was on, I forgot to Europe, I forgot to take a adapter. But once, once you do, I have since added to that, with that blow dryer, I just keep that one blow dryer in my, like, carry-on bag, like, that stays in the carry-on bag, so I don't use it for other things, and then I will you've inspired me to also put in a adapter. Yeah, so then you can, keep it on it, and then keep it on that blow dryer so that you aren't constantly trying to, like, keep one on that, keep one on your cell phone charger, um,
Yeah.
so you're not constantly looking around for adapters.
Yes. Okay. I like that idea because then you don't have to worry about having both a blow dryer and flat iron or anything. You just have
Correct.
the one tool, you're good to go.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
and it switches, so you can use it, you can travel with it in the US also.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
I really
keep it in
like
your
that.
bag.
I love that tip. And I love the tip too of just having your go-to carry-on. So as you know, I've been traveling for work all the time and then also, travel to visit family or go on these
Yeah.
tournaments or whatever. And I have not designated just one kind of carry-on travel bag, which would be so smart just to have some of these, tools or adapters or plugs, certain things in that I just keep in there and just keep so it's all ready and easy to pack. I like that idea. Ah,
Yeah.
great,
Yeah, no,
great
I'd say
tip.
it's been life-changing to have have a cell phone charger that you always keep, and also now I have 2, like, one for, one that can plug into the wall for traveling and one to put into the car. So, like, have 2, so you're not always switching out, if
Yes,
for some reason, or even just, like, on the plane, like, just having 2.
brilliant. Oh, I
I
love
think
it. Love
yes.
that tip. Also, have you found any tips with all of your travel? So I got this horrible bug coming back from
Oh,
Wales. Any good tips on staying healthy?
no, sorry.
Ah,
Luck, I don't know. I am no,
yeah, I
I
was
don't know.
hoping to have some magic tip.
No, I don't think there is. If say what you want, you can wear masks on a plane, I don't know. I I
Yeah,
think I think you're gonna pick up things by traveling, and
yeah.
it's yeah,
I'm
luck.
so curious about the players. I mean, they travel constantly. I
Oh,
mean, even within
sure.
the US, just but
Yeah.
being on all those flights and going all over, it's like how do they stay
Yeah,
healthy?
they
I'm
may
very
build up
curious.
immunity as they,
Yeah, that's
more and
true.
more you travel. Because if you're, exposed to
Yeah,
something new, I mean, sure, there's the basic, wash your hands and cover your cough and, you know,
yeah, yeah,
that sort of stuff. Don't eat really old food if possible,
yeah. Kind of the basics.
the basics, but otherwise you're gonna get
Yeah,
sick if,
yeah. Oh,
take
also,
stuff with
so
you to, help you feel better, like have stuff,
like cold medicine
cold
and
medicine or, nausea medicine if it's you know,
yeah, that is a very good tip because I generally don't take it with me on the trip, and then sometimes I'll be in, a
yeah.
location or a country, and I'm
I
like, "Oh,
typically take a mini pharmacy, so,
yeah." It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Have you found that there's anything fun in particular that you like to look for when traveling, like in other countries or in airports that you like to look for and buy? And I'll give an example. So when I was coming back from Wales, I had forgotten. So Chris and I had gone to London on our honeymoon, and I remember buying because of course their books are in English, but they're just slightly different. It was some novel about, and I remember them talking about hoovering instead of vacuuming. And, it's just so much fun. And so when I was in the airport there was a bookstore. And so I bought a couple books, just British books. And I really enjoyed looking for that. And then just slightly different candy. Because, of course,
Mm,
Cadbury is
yes.
here, but it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, the Brits love their Cadbury chocolate. So they
Sure.
had tons of different things, and so I like looking for those kinds of things that are just slightly different or sometimes very different in other countries. Is there
Sure.
anything that you found that you like looking for or buying or trying?
I mean, I would say I love getting different drinks, like especially different coffees or teas, like that's always fun. Yeah, definitely chocolate, always
Yeah.
get chocolate wherever you can.
Yeah.
Different chocolate and clothes. I mean, I find the clothes, those are also a little different. It's fun to, if you have the time to, get some piece that's, unique to that location is very fun.
Yes. Oh, yes. I like that. Okay, and then I think finally, any good TV show, book, movie recommendations? I know you read a lot, but you also watch a lot of good shows.
I
Any
do.
recommendations for me?
Sure. I mean, I would recommend I've been reading a few Japanese books. I'm bad about remembering the authors. One is The Heartbeat Library, and then the same author is There's a Telephone, I think, at the End of the World. Those two are the same
Oh,
author. They're both really neat, like fun novels that are. I find like both kind of talks about Japan, as long as we're on that theme, and also
yes.
good novels. So both of them, and then Butter, I know that, I've mentioned that before. That is, like, one of the best books that I've read lately. It's just wonderful to read all the cooking in it and
Oh
also
my goodness.
the story is a great story.
Well, so I'm in
I will
this
tell you
place
one
with
book that I just read that I don't enjoy.
Ooh, yes. Tell me.
Project Hail Mary, and
Ooh,
so it's gonna be a movie. I have no idea why I read it. It's by the guy who wrote, I think The Martian,
yeah.
so it's gonna be a
Andy
movie.
Weir? Something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so and I'm saying it's I didn't I read the book, and I needed to read the book, and I finished the book, so clearly, I like it enough to read the book, and it's not as
Yeah.
short, and I love the story. It was just so maybe you'll enjoy it. There's so much detail about, like, all the science and how they
Oh, no,
did
no, no.
things, and I would skip over that, just like, "Why? Why do you have to describe how you're doing this experiment?"
That's
But it was
absolutely his style.
but it was amazing, like, it was a great story. So, if
Yeah.
you're into a great story and you enjoy the science, that's the book that I just finished, and I did, like, finish it.
Interesting. Well, I assume Mark will like it because generally when he gives me recommendations, he'll tell me, "Well, I really liked it because they give such long details about all of this and they thought it out." And so
Yeah,
I'm like, "Well, that sounds
okay,
perfect for him."
maybe so. I think it's probably too commercial for him, but,
Okay.
like, it's popular. I think it's a very popular book, but just
Interesting.
I would potentially avoid it, but
Okay. Okay. Well, yes, I mean, currently, I used to be such an avid reader, and currently it's so hard for me to actually finish a book. So, Butter, I'm probably, I don't know, you know, 5/6 of the way through and just haven't finished. I'm
you need to
so
finish that.
close. I know.
It's a good ending.
Ooh. Okay. I
And
can't
Project
wait.
Hail Mary was also a good ending, and I should not be shading it because I did actually read it and enjoy it, but there was just way too much science stuff in it.
See, that's where a good editor should come in. Tighten it up.
I think they need to have 2 versions. They need to be like,
Yeah. For the
"This is
for the science nerds and then for
this is
everyone
for the"
else.
yeah. Well,
I think
that's
so.
one of those you just watched the movie, so
Yeah. And did you ever read Thursday Murder Club?
Oh, I did. It was super fun.
So they're coming out with a movie. It's gonna be on
Oh,
Netflix, I think, at the end of this month.
okay.
I'm I loved the book so much, and then there's, I think, now 4 in the series.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I really, really loved it, and so I know they have very good actors starring in it, like, they got some really, really great people, but I'm still a little nervous, having it actually portrayed. I don't know.
Oh, it'll just think of them as different things. They're just different, like, they're just different
Yeah.
interpretations, different styles, and
Yeah.
it'll be good. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
That just popped up on Netflix, that I saw was a little preview saying it was coming at the end of the month, so oof.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I have tons of Korean recommendations for you, but I won't
I
recommend all
watched
those
Julie and
shows.
Julia. Have you seen that yet?
Oh, I have,
Okay,
yes.
I just saw that.
Oh
I
my.
really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. That was fun.
yeah, yeah.
That was a great movie.
What kinda shows in general do you like?
Oh,
What
like, I would say, like, dystopian. Like, The Leftovers is my
ah,
favorite. I'm watching The
ah,
Last of Us, so, like,
uh-huh,
End of the World. I
uh-huh.
really love Station 11.
Ah, yes. The
That
book
was
and the show?
the book and the show, and all the books. I mean, I loved Emily, is it Saint Maudel? I don't know.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
I loved all her books, she needs to
yeah.
write more, please.
Well, and I loved that both the book and the show of Station 11 because they were just different enough, I think,
Right.
and in really good, important ways that I could appreciate both of them.
Right, and it was so nice to see, it's like, "Oh, that's not the way I imagined it," but it was like, "Oh, that's a really interesting
Yeah.
interpretation." So if you come up with any other shows that are similar, I'd love more.
Okay. Okay, well, that's
I
good
don't
to
watch
know.
the, subtitles, like, that's too much effort.
Alright, well, okay, that cuts out a
I know. All your That's at a large swath of your
I just started watching another Korean, dating show, a reality show that's so wonderful. It's called Better Late Than Single, and it's so funny and cute.
Okay.
Like, I have been laughing more than I've probably laughed at any show, I don't know, in the last year. They are so funny. It's all these people who've literally never dated in their life, and they're about 26 to 30 years old, and they basically
Okay.
get kind of these makeovers and some coaching before they then go in and
Yeah.
live together and
Okay.
kind of date. It
Yes.
is hilarious.
Okay.
Hilarious.
That
Oh,
sounds
it's so
amazing.
funny.
That sounds
Really,
amazing.
really funny. But yeah, it's subtitles.
I
Yeah.
don't know, I think I'm just getting too old. It's like, it was to the point where it's like, do you have to wear glasses or not? And it's just
Uh,
like, that's just too
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it's really exhausting for your eyes too. Yeah. There are times when, yeah, I just have to turn on a regular American show because my eyes are too tired.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one that I've started, and maybe I'm almost done, I don't know. It's a short series, I think, is Department Q.
Okay.
It's I think the same guy who did The Queen's Gambit. Did you watch
Okay.
that?
Uh,
Um
yeah, no. I mean, I
oh,
know I started
yeah.
it, and I just I don't know.
I really like that. But Department Q, it's like a murder mystery or kind of mystery. It's this English guy in Scotland, on the police force and
Okay.
interesting. But it's Matthew Good. Do you know who Matthew Good is?
I
I
don't
think
think
you'd
so.
recognize
I'm
him.
sure I would. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar, but yeah.
Yeah. But he's fantastic and it's a really good show. But
Okay. That sounds
yeah,
fun. It was, what was it? Q something?
Department Q.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember that.
Yeah. I think it's always to me, it's always fun. I've watched so many, like, murder mysteries through the years and all those kind of police dramas and things, and if there's something that happens in a show that I have never seen before, I'm always impressed. I'm like, "Whoa." Like, I've truly never seen that before because I've seen so many, my mom and I watched so
Yeah.
many murder mysteries and, like, so many different shows through the years, and so if there's something new like, even just a scene or something, and something
It's
early happens, and I'm like, "I have never seen that before." So, I don't know.
it's a very impressive memory that you
Yeah.
remember. Like, that's
Well,
very good.
those especially those kind of shocking things, they'll stick with
Sure.
you, but yeah.
Yeah. It's very good.
Anyway, well, this was lovely.
Oh,
I
yes, this is
really
super fun.
enjoyed chatting with
Thank
you.
you for having even though I'm you know, have a little negativity about golf.
I think a lot of people do, and I think that that is a very I don't know, real and common thing. And I mean, part of what I want to do with this whole like exploration about golf courses and some of that eco-friendly, I don't know if it's a trend, but
Yeah.
I know certainly some golf courses are going toward that or have, um, and more conscious about how they're managing, just the land that they have and the space and being more environmentally conscious. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people who are thinking about those kinds of things. And
And
clearly a lot of
socially
people
and socially
and
conscious too.
and socially conscious. I mean, thinking about making it more inclusive. There's a lot of discussion, I think, about there are various people on Instagram that I've followed, that various women who are trying very hard to make it more friendly and welcoming to women so that it's not so intimidating for someone just to walk in and play
Yeah.
around a golf. I
Yes.
mean, it
Yeah.
just yeah, it shouldn't be so hard because there is something so satisfying, like, talking about I
There's
meant to say this earlier, but with Topgolf, like,
yes.
there's something going to the driving range, Marla, and putting in, like, earbuds and listening to some really good music and hitting a golf ball hard
Oh, yeah.
is so fantastic, and it's something I
I
think
totally
so
agree with
many
that.
women would love,
I
and it's
know,
like
yes. Yeah, rather than hitting, someone or hitting a wall or yes,
or
yes,
bottling things
punching
up,
a
you
pillow
know?
or whatever. Yes. No, I
Yes.
agree.
Yes. So
So
it just yeah, it shouldn't be this hard. So I don't know.
I agree.
Hopefully,
I'm
hopefully
looking
things
forward
will
to seeing what happens. It's gonna get better. It has to.
yeah, right. Anyway, but yes, I really, really enjoyed this. And again, thank you for being my first guest and hopefully lots more fun interviews to come. But yeah, all right.
Yes.
Well, with that, I'll go ahead then and say goodbye.
Bye.